Everyone, I'm Jamie Dorley. I am live at the World of Wellness. This is the last day of the Wine and Wellness Week, Winter Wonderland Holiday Party and Sale. We got a packed house here today. We are open till 5 p.m. All you need to do is come on down. You can participate with us with the incredible workshops we're doing. We have chair massages going on. We have Healthy Holly treats at 12 o'clock in the kitchen. We're doing free Zyto scans, free smoothies, samples, literature, books, you name it, we're doing it today. Plus, we have our friends from the PCIC upstairs from 1 to 3. And we didn't stop there. The Godfather, Joe Messina, will bring us home today at 1 o'clock, Phil, with How to Live Until You Die. So what I'm going to go do today is talk about the importance of being able to read labels, not only for food, over-the-counter medication, prescription, and then the supplements and nutraceuticals. Because, as I would say, the labels are screaming, are you actually listening? Because you have to have a strategy going into this so you're able to read labels and make those really tough decisions sometimes. So we're live at the World of Wellness. We are accepting new patients. We have an incredible staff of healthcare professionals, including celebrating his 20th anniversary in practice, Dr. Gideon Orbach, a doctor of chiropractic, and he has his new adjusting table. Have you had the pleasure, Phil, of getting an adjustment from Dr. Orbach?
Not on his new table yet. I have to go.
But you have in the past, correct?
Yes.
So he's got his new table. His partner here now is Dr. Philip Ross, doctor of chiropractic, and he uses some of the new modalities that chiropractors have access to, including the hot laser therapy. This has been fantastic for healing scar tissue, damaged joints, pain, injuries, those types of things. In addition, he does the cupping, he does a laser gun, dry needling. So Dr. Orbach and Dr. Phil both do chiropractic work. And I just had the pleasure of meeting with Dr. Phil Ross. How'd it go? She's given a double thumbs up, and she said wonderful. So I'm glad he was able to help you out today. It's the first time she worked with him. We also have Andrea. She's a licensed muscle therapist, and she's doing chair massages right here in the facility. So you're more than welcome to come on down today. So many great things to do for free, including free healthy organic food. So folks, on your way out, grab some free healthy organic food from Ariza. They have vegetarian options, grass-fed beef, organic chicken. So you can customize any meal you want. In addition, we'll have discounts on everything throughout the day. So if you want, come on down, 2419 Baldwick Road. If you're unable to come down and you want to do a mail order, it's free shipping. Call the office at 412-922-9355. That's 412-922-WELL. Lastly, if you want to do a curbside pickup, you can do so. Just call ahead. They'll bring the order right outside to you. And Phil, can they order through the website?
They can. Code WOW30.
Woohoo! So people have been asking to be able to order through the website. You can now. Do you get the discount?
Yes.
Yes, you do. So any which way you want to do it, you can. Just participate, folks. So I'm going to talk about World of Wellness a little bit and get into the labels, but we have the lovely and talented Dr. Ashley Razi, Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine, here to help you utilizing the technology with the Zyto and also doing pH balancing. And we have Jeffrey Nisnik, who's an applied kinesiologist, and he does allergy elimination techniques. So the great thing.
Cindy says hi.
Hey, there we go. Woohoo. Hey, boo. So we got a lot of people listening from all over the country. It's a great way to join us by the stream. If you like what we're doing, pass it on to a friend or family member. If you don't like what we're doing or you have some good ideas to suggest, give that to Joe Messina. He specializes in that department. So come on down. We're here all day today. Got a lot of great things for you to take advantage of. We are accepting new appointments. All you need to do is call the office. Here's all the great things you can participate with. And then coming in January, it's going to be Ladies' Night. Ladies are excited for Ladies' Night. That'll be hosted by Dr. Ashley Razi. That'll be on the Wednesday in the month of January and February, talking about how to be clean and lean in 2022. Stay tuned on the announcements for that and more details to come. So our program focuses on lifestyle. This is nothing new, Phil. This has been around since 400 BC. I don't know if Joe was around then or not, but
I think he was just in his diapers.
yeah, diaper stage. Here we go. Phil getting very comfortable behind the camera. So Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food. So you can't out supplement a bad diet. You can't out medicate a bad lifestyle. So we give you the tools you need to build the great pyramid of health. So it starts with your lifestyle. So water, drinking some organic hot tea right now. Water, food, movement, digestion, elimination, and emotional wellness, and sleep. Those are our foundations that we have a choice to do every day. So when you look at the foundations, that's really the building blocks. And then you build the pyramid through food and food-based supplementation. The great thing is you can build the entire pyramid with 1 scoop of Power Cleanse and 1 scoop of greens. Simple, easy, and inexpensive. So there's a great pyramid of health. That way, when we build it up through the lifestyle, the food-based, and the food-based supplements, when you get to, hey, I need something for my knees or I need something for sleep, the condition-specific formula will work even better. If we look at food, right? Let food be thy medicine. This is some sample scores of the quality of different types of foods, right? So all the green foods, we're scoring on the left side, kale being the highest, collard, spinach. So you want to eat good green foods and foods in this category. Some of the fruits and vegetables in the middle, and then some of the things on the lower end. So, of course, like Coca-Cola has no nutrient value, right? Olive oil, ice cream, that's not organic olive oil, right? So foods can have different scores based on them. What we like to do is do some food allergy testing to see what are you sensitive to. So the first thing we want to do is eliminate processed junk. We want to add in whole foods and whole food-based supplements. Really easy way to incorporate phytonutrients is by doing the colors. So we have these available to sample at Nutritional Frontiers at the World of Wellness. These are food and veggie-based products. So we use food, fruit, and veggies. So they all have a similar philosophy and approach. They are food-based, and then we fortify them with certain nutrients so that they can build up the quality here. How we doing, folks? You can take a seat if you like. Morning. How we doing? So each one has a specific application, but they all overlap a little bit. So the greens is going to help you cleanse and detoxify a little more. The orange is more for energy, weight, and blood sugar. The reds are all your nutrients in one, and the purples are more your exotic berries for aging. So generally we think about skin, brain, circulation, and heart. Can you get Joe to figure this out, please? I'll give you my background a little bit so that people understand why I'm here. Folks, we're doing the first part down here if you want to join us. No problem. We got 2 groups upstairs and downstairs, so take a seat. We got more seats in the other room if we need them. Organic food truck is out front, and then they'll start the PCIC right after lunch, okay? So I'll just give you my background a little bit so you understand why I'm here, and that, believe it or not, you're all probably wondering, how can he have 30 years experience? He looks so young, right? Is that what we're thinking? Yeah. So I've been doing this 30 years, graduated from Slippery Rock University with a degree in public health. I worked in the health club field in sports nutrition throughout the 90s. The ACSM was American College of Sports Medicine Certified Personal Trainer. And I worked in sports nutrition until about 2000. What I decided to do then is start to work with healthcare professionals like Dr. Weiner and patients like you guys and girls out here today. So since about 2000, I've been working with healthcare professionals to help them implement lifestyle changes so that they can focus on the underlying causes of your health challenges and conditions. Was the co-founder of Nutritional Frontiers along with Dr. Weiner. We did that almost 15 years ago. I did own Nutrapharmacy for a brief period of time, and current owner of the World of Wellness. That's Dr. Weiner's background. You might have known him before. Maybe you want to grab some chairs. Thank you, Phil. You can take a seat anywhere, folks. We got some more chairs over there. So Dr. Weiner was a pioneer in natural healing, not only in Pittsburgh, but throughout the U.S. He practiced for over 45 years. He was the founder of the Pain Release Clinic, the Weiner Wellness Center, which is now the World of Wellness. And he always had a couple of really key quotes that I remember. Number one, if you learn anything today, anything can cause anything. Okay? And we don't want to chase the cure because they've been chasing the cure for a long time. We want to chase the cause. And the two biggest causes are going to be toxicity and nutrient deficiency. So it doesn't matter what your issue is, sleep, hormones, skin, weight, digestion, heart. Always think about possible toxicity and what are some nutrient deficiencies I may have. So that was one thing. The other thing Doc said is that the mind is like a parachute. It works a lot better when it's open, right? So if someone tells you they can't help you, they're right. They can't help you. It doesn't mean nobody can help you. So you got to take the personal responsibility for your health back onto you. You have to seek out the right healthcare professionals, and you have to have a strategy in place based on what your goals are and where you currently are in your program. So we want to talk today about reading labels because it may sound like, it's a little boring, but it's really not. Thank you, Di. So the key is to be able to read a label for food, over-the-counter medications. And remember, a lot of the over-the-counter medications at one time could have been prescription. So you have to know, hey, when I take this, how do I take it properly? You know, and the old school pharmacists, you know, what they really were there for is not so much to give you the medication, but how to take it safely, right? Remember the old pharmacy, you'd walk in, they knew everybody in the neighborhood, and they would help you take it safely. So, and then we want to look at nutraceuticals. How do we read the labels on nutraceuticals? So I do a free vitamin review. If you ever have any questions about any vitamins, supplements, over the counter you're buying, you can always bring them in and we can help you compare the labels and see what's in there. Okay. There's really three things we're looking for. One is the amount of the ingredients, like vitamin C, is it 10 milligrams or 100? The second thing we're looking at is the form, because your body will absorb it differently depending on how it's put together. Okay. So if it's a vitamin, we want it activated. If it's a mineral, we want it chelated. If it's a food, we want it a whole food. And then the last part is we don't want anything in there that shouldn't be in there. We'll show you later a little bit of some of those examples. So something like Essentia may have dyes in it, right? It may have epoxies. Right on the label, you can see it has talc in it. We all see this year that J&J, the last couple of years actually, had a lot of lawsuits about talc. Well, do you want that in the multivitamin? I don't think so. And someone mentioned to me yesterday when I did a vitamin review with them, they says, well, it's better than nothing. I said, actually, it's not. Yeah, nothing would be better because you're actually adding in toxicity. So buyer beware, right? So we're going to show you food, right? I'm going to show you over-the-counter, prescription, and nutraceuticals. So one of the things on food we want to look at is keep it simple. All right, so we want some general philosophies on reading food labels, and then we can get real specific depending on, hey, you may have sensitivities to something, right? So if it comes from the ground, right, vegetables, right, comes from a tree, fruits, pretty good. If it swims, flies, or runs, good. Always organic whenever possible. If it's not organic, have a strategy in place. Now, it's been a blessing that we have Whole Foods now, Trader Joe's, Fresh Time, Fresh Market. There's a lot of ways. I also like to support the local farmers. It may not be 100% organic, but I know where it's coming from. They use a minimal amount they need, and I know it's fresh. In addition, you can have fun on your own. You can grow your own garden, right? So does anyone here do their own garden or anything? Okay. So I know some things are a lot easier to grow, like tomatoes, where other things may not be. So find some things that are fun to do, make it a fun process for the summertime, and grow some of your own foods. So the food is still the best source of your antioxidants, your vitamins, your minerals, all these different things. But we know that the food has lost a lot of its nutritional content, right? This has been going on for years. Actually, Congress came out in 1937 and said we're losing nutrient content. What did they do about it? Nothing, right? The government's going to still do work on it. It's almost 100 years later. So realize you got to eat real food, but a lot of it's been nutritionally depleted, okay? So that's one thing to remember. The second part is that everyone needs a multivitamin, no matter who you are or what you do. Because even JAMA said in 2002, it's 20 years ago, they said, the American Medical Association said that, hey, everyone needs to take a multivitamin. Why? Because the food is depleted of the nutrients. And the number one underlying cause is that nutritional deficiency for any chronic disease. So if the AMA is saying it, everyone's on board. The problem is the doctors didn't listen. And the AMA never said what type of multi to take. There's a big difference in the quality. So here I recommend our Woman's Complete. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. Some women take it, some men take it. In addition, we have the Frontier Multi, which is a great whole food multivitamin. So we have Woman's Complete or Frontier Multi. And then one of our shakes, the Power Cleanse, actually has a multivitamin and mineral right in it. So if you're looking at a food label, you got to be careful. First of all, the best foods don't come in a box, right? They come in its own packaging. So they talk about shopping the perimeter of the store. That's the idea. Those were all the whole foods are based out of. Anytime you start to go down the aisles, you got to be careful, right? So one thing is look at the serving information. It'll tell you this is 4 servings per container, 1 cup, right? How many calories that's per serving. But I really start to look at how much fiber is in something, okay? When it's processed more and more, does the fiber go up or down? Yeah, down and maybe eliminated, right? And in some, I don't call it junk food. It's either junk or food. You know, there's no fiber in a Pop-Tart, right? So if you're eating junk, just know that there's no nutrient content. And this whole thing with, oh, it's gluten-free or it's sugar-free or it's still a Pop-Tart or a cookie. So just be aware of that. A simple thing is look at, number 1, fiber content. Okay, if that's less than 2 grams, probably not a good food to eat. Okay? Carbohydrate, sugar content. Because not all carbs are the same. Carbs get a bad name, but there's fibrous carbs like fruits and veggies, which are great. And then you have, you know, the processed carbs and the starchy carbs, which aren't so great. And there is a Pop-Tart, speaking of Pop-Tarts. So it says 10 servings per container, 1 pastry. I think they still come 2 per wrapper, right? So most kids are going to eat 2. So you have to double everything right away, right? And the sugar's high, the fiber's really low, and then they got a lot of the bad fats in there. So this is pretty much a sugar product is what it is, right? And we look at the ingredients. They list sugar under a lot of different names. What are some names for sugar? Sugar. What else? Sucralose, right? Brown sugar. Does it sound healthier? It's not, right? So you don't need to sweeten a lot of things. If you do, use a little bit of honey or stevia, agave, things like that. But be careful because they're going to list these sugars differently. And why do they do that? Because legally they have to list from highest to lowest dose. So if they put sugar under 2 different names, they can put it lower on the list. If you go with an apple, does this have sugar in it? Yeah, it's natural fructose. But the apple has all the phytonutrients in it too, right? And that's the idea of eating the rainbow diet. We heard about that and seen a lot of that, right? It's getting in all the fruits and veggies in all different types of varieties. And yeah, it has some sugar in it, but also has a lot of fiber, and it has a lot of phytonutrients in it. If somebody's a diabetic or has problems with sugar, we want to keep fruits to a minimum. But there are some fruits that may be better, like berries and blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, strawberries. This is what I was talking about earlier. This goes back to 1975. They tested fruits and veggies, and they says, well, what is the nutritional content? Because they were using heavy farming industry, right? It was using heavy herbicides, pesticides, mineral depletion, over farming, and here's the result. So if you have been fans or following, like Lisa has, Dr. Weiner all these years, you probably heard him say about magnesium once or twice, right? Magnesium is the most deficient nutrient in the world, number one. Anyone know what number 2 and 3 are? Oh, great guess. We got some good ones here today.
Yes, I know that.
Good answer. Good answer. Supposed to clap, right? Good answer. Family food. There we go. Yeah, so we got magnesium, vitamin D, and what's the third one?
Zinc.
Close.
C.
Good answer. Very good answers. You guys are in the top 10. Another good answer. The answer is omega-3s. Good fats, right? And we're going to talk later about why that is so important. So you need to have good fats in your diet. But magnesium is involved in 300 plus metabolic processes. Calcium will help muscles contract. Magnesium helps it relax. So think about the heart, brain, and liver. If the heart's not relaxing properly because it's deficient in magnesium, what's the effect? You're stressed, yeah, and the heart's stressed, so it's not beating properly. They'll diagnose you as hypertensive, right? AFib. The first thing you can do for $20 a month is try magnesium. But bones, brain, muscle, organs, so many things require magnesium. Stress, right? Sleep. So a great nutrient that's in the multi, or you can do it separately. But these are some of the examples, down almost 90%, right? The other thing to be conscious of is that most meals now, at least 50, 60%, are eaten outside the house. So you got to be really careful when you eat out. Serving size, additives, other things that are going on. So Wheaties was called at one time the breakfast of champions. We see what that led to, right? God forbid. So hopefully no one's eating Wheaties anymore. But I like to do a shake, a food-based shake for breakfast. Why is that? I know what's in it. It's really inexpensive. It's quick and easy. So the nice thing with the Power Cleanse is this has all your food in it, right? So it has the protein, carbs, fat, fiber, and it has a vitamin and mineral plus liver support. So this is an easy way. I'm going to do some samples when we're done of incorporating a shake in your diet because you can control what's in it. You know what's in it. There's nothing extra we don't want. And for even with the greens in it, for about $3 for a meal, you get your vitamins, your minerals, your superfoods, probiotics, prebiotics, enzymes, everything you need in one. So if you're open to doing shakes, does anyone here do a shake? Couple of hands? Okay. If you prefer to eat at 12 o'clock today, Healthy Holly Treats in the kitchen. She's going to show you how to make some of these healthy treats. So we got muffins, cookies, mini cheesecakes, and they're healthy for you. Phil, have you tried these?
They're great. I like the peanut butter.
Oh, me too. You can't go wrong with peanut butter. And the muffins are cool because they're small. So I was like, it doesn't really count. But they're healthy versions of some of these foods. So you don't have to be punished. So we call it the Shake a Day Club. That's me on Easter last year because in the old days, I would skip meals in the morning on a holiday, right? Because I want to save myself. Inevitably, what happens? Yeah, eat too much and too quick, right? So I do my walk-in or workout in the morning. Then I'll do a shake, and depending on what time we're eating, I may do another one. Why? I don't crave as much food, and I don't overindulge too quickly. The other thing I do is I break the meal down into 2 meals. So on Thanksgiving, we had one about 4 o'clock, and I had another one later about 7:30. So it wasn't just too much at one time. So I have a plan going in. The other thing we do is we try and have some healthy food, on the snack table. So fruit, we can have nuts, we can have seeds. I like raw veggies with some dip. So you don't have to totally throw the towel in, especially around the holidays. All right, so we look at medications next, right? So the important thing is know what the medication is for. If you're going to take, I'm not anti-meds. I think they've been over-prescribed, right? Rather than addressing what the possible cause can be, it's like, oh, I'll give you a medication. And next time, we all heard of side effects before. Eliminate the word side. It's just an effect. Because when I hear side effects, I say, well, it's not going to happen to me, right? And it can't be that bad. There's a lot of effects on the medication, positive and negative. So be careful. Dr. Weiner always said, don't take a medication until it's been on the market 7 years. Why is that? The research isn't there yet. So they're doing the studies, but it's on you, right? And we all know what came out last year, right? So we're doing a lot of experimentation. You got to be very careful. And I know it's politically driven, and I know people with their jobs and stuff like that. You got to have a plan. If you get the shot or don't get the shot, you better make sure you're doing everything else. That's important. So medications, know what the medication is, know what it's for, read the insert. And nowadays, you don't have to read the insert. You can pull your phone up or a computer and just type the medicine in, and it'll tell you all the side effects, all the benefits right there. So you got to be careful. How many studies out there are there on 2 or more medications together on a human? None. So we call it polypharmacy. When you add that second and third medication, the odds of having a negative effect are 100%. So it's all risk reward. You got to have the knowledge and be able to know. What about over-the-counter medications? Just because they're over-the-counter doesn't mean they're safe. Tylenol, for example, is really designed for short-term acute pain relief. Right? We all know you can't take too much of it. If you do, what happens? Yeah, liver toxicity. And what do people do if they have too much alcohol for their hangover? Take Tylenol. You can do something like the DMG instead, right? So be careful when you're taking these over-the-counters. It also says right on the back of the label, it tells you the usage, right? Common cold, headache, warnings. No more than 4,000 milligrams a day. That's 8 500 milligram taps, right? Could do that easily. Maybe somebody's doing it for PMS, right? Hangover. Do not combine with other drugs containing acetaminophen, so you have to know what other drugs you're on. If 3 or more alcoholic drinks while using this product, be careful. Well, in Pittsburgh, that's not really that much for some people, right? They go to a Steeler game, they go to church, they're almost there, right? So be careful when you're taking over-the-counters. Just because they're over-the-counter doesn't mean they're safe. It just means you don't need a prescription. And that goes with everything. So other facts on this, stop using if you get pain gets worse, potential liver issues. So be careful when you're taking these type of things. The other one that's really popped up in the last year or two is Zantac, right? This is an antacid for digestion. You see now they're so common. I mean, I'm not that old, but growing up, there was no antacids. There was no Zantac. What's that? How do you spell relief? There we go. That's a good commercial. I still remember it. So we must have grew up in the same generation, right? But yeah, how do you spell relief, right? As a baseball player come out with Rolaids, right? These are antacids. Tums, right? Not saying I'm a big fan, but they're much safer than some of the new ones. So Zantac, Prevacid, Prilosec, right? The purple pills. The one comedians out there, cheat and eat, just take your purple pill. It's like the reason a lot of people are having problems with digestion is they're eating processed foods, eating too much volume, dairy products, right? Which are very hard to digest, right? And a lot of just junk. So be careful of that. Zantac in particular was one that the FDA pulled. Does everyone remember why they pulled this last year? It had cancer-causing ingredients in it. Right? Of course, they said it wasn't that much. A little bit of poison every day is a lot, yeah. So remember these things. If anyone's, I know you guys are big with medical freedoms and everything, but realize that, any time when you hear that there's not that much in there, it's not going to hurt you. Buyer beware. But in fact, what happened is the FDA pulled this. Some of the big retailers pulled this. I went to the airport that day and flew, and I stopped in Hudson News to get a magazine. It was right on the counter to help with your heartburn when you're traveling. There it is. Walgreens, Rite Aid, CVS have moved to stop selling Zantac and its generic versions. They detected, I love this, low levels of a cancer-causing chemical in the samples of the drug. So you need to listen to our education. You need to come to Lisa's events. You need to continue to read because this information is out there, but they're not knocking on the door with it, right? This should be front page news. But as we know, there's no more news anymore. It's all opinions. But so what do we recommend here? Probazyme. Has anyone tried Probazyme before? Okay. And you like it? So Probazyme is a natural version of an antacid. It's got probiotics. Everyone know what probiotics are? Good bugs. And it has vegetarian enzymes. And it's chewable. Because if you take in a capsule, you may not get the benefit until it gets all the way down. If you're suffering with GI, you may not get the benefit. So this is something you can use acutely for heartburn, reflux, or digestion. Take one or two even before you eat lunch today. It's safe for a kid, nursing a pregnant mother, right, for any age. So you can use it as you need it acutely, or you can use it for daily support. I really like to take them, especially around the holidays or a Super Bowl party. If you're going to eat a little more, you're going out for your birthday. If you're going to eat a little more food that you're not used to, take two before you go eat. So we had samples right in the kitchen here for you. Excellent way to help support digestion so you absorb your nutrients a lot better. So we're going to talk a little bit about prescriptions. The big one is Lipitor. Everyone know what that's for? Cholesterol. Okay. So cholesterol is a buzzword for years now, right? So we hear about these drugs for cholesterol, right? Last 20 years. And why do we want to lower cholesterol? What's the philosophy? They're saying it will reduce heart disease, right? What's the number one killer in the country? It's not COVID. We know that, right? Number one killer is cardiovascular disease. This is a $25 billion classification of medications. Does anyone know what too high of cholesterol is? What numbers? Yeah, it's about 200, right? Well, 30 years ago when I graduated, it was over 240. I think when Doc said he graduated, it was close to 300. So remember, these are just one number. They got to stop treating the number and treat you, okay? So if the cholesterol is 220, is it high? What was it last year? If it was 260, you're doing pretty good. If it was 160, something's going on. But HDL, LDL, right? Those are important. Triglycerides. There's many other numbers important. Blood sugars, hemoglobin A1Cs, high reactive proteins, right? So there's more than just the cholesterol number. However, if you're going to take Lipitor, there's 10, 20, and 40 milligram versions. The goal is always to get the best result on the lowest amount of medication or supplement. So if you're taking these, don't start at 40, okay? We recommend don't take it at all, but if you do, be careful. So what are the effects? I have side up there, but you can't really see it, right? These are just effects of Lipitor, right? It says, remember, the medication, because he or she, your doctors, judge that the benefits used greater than the risk of the side effects. So they're making that determination for you, okay? A very small number. How many is that? I don't know. Say if it was 1 out of 100. What if there's 100 million people on it? That's a million people. So I like how if you ever took a statistics class, you'll know that you can manipulate those numbers however you want, right? So mild memory problems or confusion. Well, I wouldn't think there's any mild memory problems. If there's a memory problem, that's severe. And what I've noticed is that as statin medications have gone up, what else has gone up? Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. Because one of the problems is that you are going to reduce your production of CoQ10, right? Go back here. So Lipitor in particular cuts about CoQ10 by about 50%. What's CoQ10 for? We all heard of CoQ10? Okay. For heart, it's for energy production and muscle. And the heart, brain, and liver and your muscle is where you store it. Okay. So if it's involved in the energy, it's not a stimulant. ATP is the energy inside your muscles. So look at it this way. If we cut the power off in half the building right now, could we tell a difference? Oh, yeah. So what does that equate to in you if you're doing this? Fatigue, muscle ache, muscle pain. Happened to my dad. He goes back to the doctor. He says, oh, you're getting old. Of course you need a nap. He says, it's only been the last 6 months. He's built like you. He says, I golf, I bowl, I'm cutting the grass, I do everything. So be careful. It says in rare situations, it may cause a worse than diabetes. So again, you got to know the stuff going in, have a strategy, and you can have a conversation with your doctor. If you don't like her, you can go to another doctor. Next year, we're bringing in a medical doctor here that's functional so people can come here for everything. So we're in the process of that. It may cause muscle problems. Why? Because it's depleting the energy source for the muscle. That's the problem. These statin medications, anyone know how they work? They work in the liver. There's an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase. Just realize this enzyme creates cholesterol. But the name says CoA. It also creates what? CoQ10. So the same exact, take care, Bill, Merry Christmas. The same exact process that creates energy also creates cholesterol. So if you cut that in half, that's your problem. Signs of kidney, muscle aches, muscle tenderness, liver problems. So be careful. You got to read the labels. You got to go online. Just type in side effects of a medication, and you'll know. You do have an option. We have something called cholesterol red. Now, we don't like to do just green medicine. Just take this instead of that, but some people want that. We always incorporate a diet and lifestyle. And cholesterol is a building block of all your hormones. So we don't always want the cholesterol to be too low. We want it to be manageable. Just one number. If you meet with any healthcare professionals, bring the blood work so we can look at it with you and show you it's a bigger picture. So the last one we'll take the last couple of minutes is look at supplements. Does anyone like big tablets? No? Okay. I had this debate with my old company. I went to the higher level management. I says, we do a lot of tablets. Oh, yeah, we've done the patient studies and we've done the surveys. People like the tablets. I said, no, they don't. The company likes the tablets because those capsules cost about a penny a piece, right? So if you're doing millions of capsules a year, as Doc and my dad told me, in this country, always, if you want an answer to any question, follow the money. Right? So we don't do a lot of tablets here. Nutritional Frontiers maybe does a couple if we're trying to get a delayed release. But we don't generally use tablets, we use veggie caps. So the first thing I like is a tablet. The second thing I look at is there's not a lot of ingredients in this one, right? There's a few ingredients. And then they have the number on the right, the daily value. Does anyone know what the RDA stands for? Good answer. Anyone else? That's one answer. My answer is really dumb amounts, right? These amounts are barely to keep you alive. Yeah. Recommend a daily allowance to keep you alive, not to operate in 2021 with the stress we're under, with technology, with processed foods and pandemic and everything else. So we need more nutrients, not less. So the other thing we look at next to so it says vitamin C, vitamin D, right? And then vitamin E has the form of the ingredient is just as important as the ingredient. And then what else is in there we don't like? The first other ingredient is what? Gelatin, right? Then we have lactose, right? So we don't want those things in there. I'm going to show you some other ones. That actually says yellow dye, right, at the bottom. So if the tablets or capsules are colored, unless it says natural coloring, they're usually artificial, which are bad for the brain because they cross the blood-brain barrier. So why take a multi? We talked earlier about this, overwhelming. There's a JAMA article. So next time someone says to you, family member, doctor, friend, neighbor, you don't need to take a multivitamin. Have you ever heard that? Well, according to Dr. Fairfield and Dr. Fletcher of Harvard Medical School, this was in June of 2002. It's 20 years ago. So leading medical doctors at Harvard are saying, take a multi. Why? Low multivitamin intake has been linked to a host of illnesses. They recommend everybody, regardless of age or health status, take a daily multi. So at the very least, take a multivitamin and mineral. The Woman's Complete is nice from here because it has your vitamins, minerals, plus probiotics and superfoods. It's safe from menstruation all the way through menopause. And even if you're pregnant or nursing, it's a great prenatal. So there it is right there, right? We have the Frontier Multi, and then we have the Woman's Complete. Those are two options. In addition, we have it in the Power Cleanse. Does everyone take a multi? No? Yeah. Okay. This is actually the study acknowledging it, right? How to prevent chronic disease in adults. A multivitamin. You would think this would be on the cover of everything and on every show out there, right under the rug. In fact, when I talk to doctors that are more allopathic about this, oh, did you make that up? No. Well, it must be brand new. No, it's 20 years old. So if your doctor's not recommending a multivitamin to you, you probably need to find another doctor. Why do people take it? Overall health and wellness, prevention. To me, it's like an insurance policy. I don't really notice a lot when I start to take the vitamins. Sometimes I do. The Woman's Complete, I did notice a difference. But I really notice if I don't take it for a few days or a week. You can really tell. What's that? No, it didn't, thank God, because I had high estrogen levels to begin with. But I did notice because that has the probiotic in it, the lactospore, that's really good for digestion. Yeah. So how to choose a multi? Dose, form, what else is in there? So I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. So the form of the ingredients, we use something called TRACS. That stands for the real amino acid chelase. These are trademarked ingredients, no different than clothes or car or jewelry or anything else, right? You want the generic? Buyer beware. Do not buy anything that has magnesium oxide or any word oxide or carbonate. Usually that's the first thing you'll see is oxide or carbonate. Because the mineral, magnesium, has to be bound with something. If it's bound with a rock or salt, they call it an oxide. That has about 1 to 7% absorbability. When you see TRACS, that has over 90% absorbability. Okay? So it's the amount, it's the form, and then what else is in there? Oh, God. Leading over-the-counter multi. Cornstarch. Survey says no good, right? Talc. Hydrogenated oils. What do we do with those? What's that? Yeah, throw the vitamin out. But if we get the hydrogenated oil, that's usually what clogs the arteries, right? Artificial food colorings, polyvinyl alcohol. Ugh, it's really scary. If you look at the label, the other ingredients are more than what the ingredients are. Not a good thing. When in doubt, read the label. If you're not sure, bring it in here. We'll do it at no cost to help you read. But these are some simple things that you can pick up on. Then we look at the dosing, right? The serving size, same thing. The form, other ingredients. So you guys get the idea. We look at the woman's one a day, right, for prenatal. They're so low dose that you're not really going to get the benefit you need. Now, the good thing is we know that medical doctors do believe in vitamins, don't we? Anyone been pregnant before or pregnant now? Is the doctor recommended a multi or folic acid, right? What's folic acid for? Birth defects. So they know there's benefits to vitamins. They just may not feel that as strongly as we do. So that's the Woman's Centrum. Once again, very, very low dose, poor forms. And then you have all the things in there. Calcium carbonate, mag oxide, dyes, no good. Is this better than nothing? No, it's worse. Do not take these vitamins at all. Not good. If you're taking them, you've done a good step. Now we got to take the next step. Because when you start to add up the cost, these are actually more expensive. because of what you're getting in there. So the Woman's Complete, those are all trademark ingredients on the right. We have 7 trademark ingredients in this formula alone. It's excellent for vitamins, minerals, the wellness complex, superfoods, probiotic. And you can do 1 to 2 caps a day, once or twice. That's all. Everything's in there except for your fish oil. So we look at, when I say dosing, we have 33 times more B12 than the Centrum. Give you a little inside, behind the scenes information. The most important part of the multivitamin, the most expensive part, is the B vitamins. Right? So when I'm putting a product together, the B vitamins is the most expensive component of that. Okay.
So, what's the total quantity of B12?
I have to look at it exactly. I can pull it up for you in a minute. But it's 33 times more than what you find in Central. Yeah.
That's not a comparison to make a better assumption.
Well, I'm just showing the comparison with the good vitamin versus the poor one. Yeah. And it's not a B vitamin, so we don't have outrageous amounts, but they're going to skip on the more expensive ingredients, is the point. But we'll get that for you in a couple of minutes. So, of course, it doesn't compare. The last thing I want to show is fish oil. Does anyone take fish oil? Do we know why we're taking it? Heart, joints, eyes, brain, skin, hormones. Who's right? You're all right. Yeah. Why is that? Well, if you remember back to like 7th grade, you have to draw the cell, right? Cell wall and then the mitochondria. All the fluid in there is called the cell membrane. When that fluid, which is made of fats, has a higher concentration of omega-3s, the cells look like a grape. They're hydrated, they're full, they're alive. You said aging. When you start to age, those cells shrink and get hard and sticky. Right? That's like type 2 diabetes. So things don't attach to the cell well, and you don't get things turned on and off well. Okay? So we need omegas. They're the top 3 nutrient deficiency in the world. We just got to make sure we're getting the right ones. So this says fish oil, 1,000 milligrams. What's that mean? Math major. That's good. 1 gram of what? Of oil. Okay. So it's 1,000 milligrams of oil. Okay. It's just a weight. What are we really looking for? EPA and DHA. Okay. So when you're looking at a fish oil, don't look at the front of the bottle, spin it around, and look for EPA and DHA. Those are the concentrations we get the benefit from. Okay? So out of 1,000 milligrams, we get 250 EPA and DHA. 25%. Remember back in school, it was 25%. That's an F. What's the other 75%? Pro-inflammatory oils. So this is not a good fish oil. Highly pro-inflammatory. I would recommend to stay away from this. If you have it at home, throw it out. So let's look at our label. Now, this is a liquid or a soft gel. We have EPA at 960 and 640. That's per 2. Okay. So you're getting about 90% EPA and DHA. See the difference? 25% versus 90%. So how much of EPA and DHA a day do you need a day? About a gram, about 1,000 milligrams. You can go higher, 2 and 3 grams for anti-inflammatory cardiovascular benefit. And we know fish oils are great. They've been around a long time. The guy that makes ours, their medical director, is Dr. Jorn Dyerberg. He brought fish oil to the market in 1971. He's a cardiologist. He has 450 published studies on the benefits of omegas, and that's who we work with on our team. If you want the highest dose, I do 1 teaspoon of liquid every morning. It's real simple, easy, and this will give you almost 3,000 milligrams, so 3 times the minimal amount you need. Okay, so questions on the fish oil? Anything else we went over? You guys are a great group. We're doing free. Yes, sir. Well, it depends on the person, right? If somebody's not absorbing fish oil properly, they'll burp it back up, right? It could be a bad fish oil, or it could be they don't absorb it right. And that's because they're not absorbing fats well. Maybe they're overweight. Maybe they have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Maybe they're on a lot of medications. Maybe they're just bloated. But for a healthy person, you should be able to absorb at least 3,000 milligrams at once. Yeah, sure. And you don't need to go outrageously high on these. One soft gel up to 3 is really a good dose. And if you want the liquid, you get 1 teaspoon. Really good for pregnancy, of course, for the baby, because the EPA is anti-inflammatory. The DHA is more for brain, eyes, and nervous system. But you do cross back and forth and you convert. There are some products on the market that have just one in there. I'm not a big fan of those because, well, if there's only one in there, we have to take the other one out, right? So you're still paying for it. I say leave it in there because they both have benefits. Some products say, oh, high DHA for the brain. This is high DHA for the brain, but it has high EPA also. Great questions. Anybody else?
Why would they want to take it out?
Because they want maybe to promote the benefit of one versus the other. DHA, people think of more brain, brain development, ADD, ADHD. EPA is more anti-inflammatory. So they may take one out because they're trying to market one component. I'm more of, hey, they both are important. Why take it out and pay for it anyway? Might as well leave it in there.
I've never seen it. Didn't have to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's more the high-level doctor's market. You won't see it on the retail shelf. Well, great. Thanks so much, folks. We got Healthy Holly's demo starting in the kitchen in a couple minutes. We got the free organic food out front. We got a lot of samples. If you have any questions, let us know. We got chair massage right around the corner when she's available. And we're doing Zyto testing too. So thanks so much. You guys have been great.